From the alley-oops at Keyshaw to the glory days at the stick. From who's got it better than us to brick by brick. It's always the 49ers way, from off-season to game day. Yeah, we talk back. It's the 49ers Cutback.
It's 49ers Cutback Podcast time. And Alex, us getting our first half to get this thing up was about as good as the 49ers first half, because we were struggling, and by God, they were struggling. But none of that matters now, because the 49ers are playoff bound, baby.
Baby! And this is huge. This is so exciting. Cutback crew. Drop those W's in the chat, baby. Drop those W's in the chat. Drop the tutty emotes in the chat. The Niners took care of business in a huge way in the second half, and a huge way in the second half. And I'm going to tell you what, Big Yikes is going to be absolutely glorious tomorrow, and it is going to be glorious.
Packed. I promised it was going to be one of the best of all time, and I think now we're going to definitely have that. I already had that Mean Ocean segment, but we might have to save that for another week, because, by God, Twitter was on a roll in this first half. It was wonderful, and I think that it's going to be a lot of fun. But, Alex, what was a lot of fun was watching the 49ers storm back. It starts with a huge sack at the end of the first half, followed by 40 seconds for the 49ers to go down the field and kick the field goal. Kyle Juszczyk. I mean, he can
every penny, Ant. He's worth every penny, every single penny.
Did it not seem to you that with Kyle Juszczyk holding, that Robbie Gould was actually more accurate than normal? Yeah. The thing was like right down the middle. I don't think there's anything that Kyle Juszczyk can't do, except for the fact that there's nothing Deebo Samuel can't do either. The only thing I was hoping was on the last drive in overtime that he was going to score a touchdown, because I really wanted to see him throw for one, run for one, and catch one.
Been great.
So that would have been big.
That would have been huge, man. It really would have been. And Megan with she has re-upped her membership, and she just dropped a super chat at Niners with some Z's in it, which is huge. I mean, look, dude, Kyle Juszczyk is everything we said he was, right? He's everything we've been saying he is. He continues to show out in a big way, whether it's in the run game as a blocker, pass catcher, when the time is called and his number is called, or now holder Kyle Juszczyk. He is the ultimate utility man for this 49ers team in every regard and every aspect.
Yeah, and you know what, Alex? I'm gonna give the Rams their due. That first half, the Rams absolutely outplayed the 49ers. They were more physical. They were beating the 49ers to the point of attack. It was making me extremely nervous because we couldn't get the run game going. Jimmy was looking a little shaky. It seemed that the Rams are gonna run away with this one, and then boom, just like that, field goal. Come out in the next drive, Deebo gets it going. You got the touchdown. He looks like he's absolutely shot out of a cannon and gets to the end zone. Deebo Samuel, most valuable player in this league. I don't care what anyone says, because I watched the game today where one of the best wide receivers in the NFL was in it, in Cooper Kupp. And to me, he was still overshadowed by Deebo Samuel in this game, even though Cooper Kupp had himself one heck of a football game. That guy is a player. But when it came down to it, I think this is interesting, Alex. When it came down to it, Jimmy Garoppolo made enough throws. Matthew Stafford did not, even though I thought Matthew Stafford came out a blitz. I mean, this first part of this game, he was absolutely flawless, it seemed like. But yeah, at the end of the game, it seemed like he got a little bit nervous. Things it pulled up a little bit. And yeah, it was definitely an interesting game. And I thought it took us through all the emotions of, oh my gosh, we're going to get blown out, to, wait a second, we got a field goal, maybe, just maybe, to, here we freaking go, to, oh no, here we go again, to, yes, we did it.
JLA, you are 100% accurate. He has the roller coaster emoji in the chat, and it was 100% a roller coaster. And I want to give Shooter some love right here. 998 super chat. He said, I called it, Niners in the playoffs. You did, man. You've been positive. You've been on the positive train since this thing started. You've been with us. You've been with the Cutback on this. That we believe this team was going to turn this around and get there. And Ant, they have. They really have. They've turned it around. They've won the games that they've needed to win. Yes, they've let some things slip. Yes, they haven't always played up to par, but this team has been through adversity now, and they know how to overcome that adversity. They know how to come back from down 17, well, actually technically 14, but it was a 17-0 lead at one point for the Rams, and win crucial games when it matters most. Jimmy Garoppolo just won a football game and hampered with a hand, and there's a lot of 49ers fans right now who should be thrilled and ecstatic, but I was seeing the comments in that first half, and I was looking at some of the comments pregame. A lot of you right now need to just enjoy this ride, enjoy this team, enjoy what this team has done. Stop talking about the quarterback situation, what you want, who's what. Right now, this is what it is. Right now, Jimmy gives us the best option. Jimmy showed it in a big way yet again today. This team stepped up and did what they needed to do. It's not always perfect. It's not always pretty, but you know what? It's not always going to be. That's not how football is. Football is a game. Bad things can go poorly for 3.5, 4 quarters for you. But at the end of the day, all you have to do is step up when you need to. Look, the Colts were in a win and get in situation against a Jacksonville Jaguars team and didn't take care of business. And now you have a team like the Pittsburgh Steelers, who have been hot garbage all season, who may end up actually being in the playoffs.
You know, and we got some stuff coming through too. And you got Brad Jones talking about Jawan Jennings. 100% Jawan Jennings had himself an absolute stunner of a football game. He came out in a big way. Then you got Lou talking about huge win, huge. I don't want to hear anybody complain about the $8 million we have to pay Robbie Gould next year. That was a shot straight to Jason Aponte's heart, Alex. True. I think that one's going to cut him deep. But Robbie Gould came through. It did the punting as well. And then I think this is what kind of a lot of people I think are feeling. And Matthew Rowley admits it right here. For the record, I was 100% wrong about Jimmy being afraid to play injured. Gutsy performance. I like that from Matthew. I mean, he's just being real, right? It's okay to have those feelings about Jimmy Garoppolo. It's just when you actually see something like this happen, you just admit that it happened and you just move on. And I think that's what's, being objective is about. And Matthew Rowley's being objective in this situation. And thank God for that.
Absolutely. Thank God for that indeed. Caleb Ant just used his super chat as well. Let's acknowledge that Josh Norman didn't get a PI yet again, Ant. Yet again, not another PI. And I saw Angel said, where was Josh Norman? Sitting behind Ambry Thomas, because Ambry Thomas is the hero San Francisco needs and deserves. Thank you, Ambry Thomas.
Right, you see Ambry Thomas, there's kind of the you still have a little bit of the rookie thing where he's gotten a lot better, but he gets beat by Higbee on a one-on-one situation, which is a little bit frustrating. Even though it wasn't bad coverage, you're still frustrated. But then on the Odell Beckham one, I mean, he's the one that playing the ball in a big way. Ambry Thomas has been improving rapidly. Adam Peters, this is your guy. This was your draft pick, as much as Jay Hill wants it to be his guy all of a sudden. This was never Jay Hill's guy. I don't know what the heck he's talking about. We get a text that it's his guy. No, Ambry Thomas was a guy that, hey, let's be honest, we all thought it. This guy wasn't going to be ready until maybe next year, maybe the year after that. The rapid improvement, the work that he's put in, the coaching staff getting him prepared, and now all of a sudden the cornerback position goes from a real worry to, you know what, we got Emmanuel Mosley and Ambry Thomas. They can get it done. Now, Alex, we haven't talked about next week yet, but it's going to be the Dallas freaking Cowboys.
It is.
Let's go back to the 1990s. Let's go back to the early 1990s. And let's take care of the Cowboys, and let's go to Lambeau after that and say, hey, Aaron, I don't know if we've met you in the playoffs. Oh, yeah, we have. We own you. And let's get to Lambeau and see if we can't go ahead and take care of them with the run game. Both those teams are going to be very dangerous. They're both very good football teams. Coordinators are going to have to get in there and figure out how to win. But I think the blueprint is pretty evident in the way they played the Los Angeles Rams. You have to run the football. You have to convert on third down. You have to play timely defense. You have to play complementary football. And when you do, you have an opportunity to win. That's why the 49ers have a chance to win in the playoffs.
1,000%. And $5 super chat from Jag. What's up, Cutback crew? Like Steve Young said about getting criticism from the media, he said you can say what you want, but today, just be quiet. They have to be quiet today. They're not going to be quiet, but they in theory should enjoy the win, because this is huge for the Niners. And now this rivalry is restored, and you have a Dallas Cowboys team coming up, and that is offensively a high-powered team. Likes to establish the run game at times, but will just try and sling this thing. They got the weapons all over the place. On top of the fact that they're both their tight ends, both Schultz and Jarwin are starting to come on here late in the season, adding a plethora of more weapons. Albert Wilson just had himself a huge game for the Cowboys. Now with Michael Gallup done for the year with an injury to the knee. We said it. There was a 25% chance of Cowboys. There was a 25% chance of Cardinals. There was a 25% chance of Rams, and there was a 25% chance of Bucks. Things fell a certain way. We all thought, you and I both thought, this was going to end up being the Rams again in back-to-back weeks. Everything plays out exactly the way it should, and now you got the Dallas Cowboys, which isn't necessarily a matchup I hate, but it's definitely going to test us, because this is a team that is a pass team, right? A pass first, pass heavy team that likes to throw the football. And you have questions in the secondary with a young secondary out there. So there's definitely this is going to test the Niners. 100% is going to test them. But Ant, I will tell you what, in a huge way, and holy $70 super chat from Android user. Great podcast, great insight, great win today. Go Faithful. Go Android.
Yeah.
Go Android user.
Android user. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it. That is a huge super chat. And that is a big way to kick off this 49ers win. And this has been an absolutely fantastic performance from the 49ers, which I'll be honest, it was a little nerve-wracking at times. This game was a little frustrating. My dog didn't like me at moments as I'm, getting up and getting excited, mainly in overtime. He had the look on his face like, wait a second, this is the most emotion I've seen from you in years. And I was showing that emotion because this 49ers team got it done, got to the playoffs. And you know what? New Orleans took care of business. The 49ers had nobody to rely on but themselves. And when the moment came down to it, they got it done. It was a team effort. They played well. But I think this defense really did hold the 49ers in this game. There was opportunities for the Los Angeles Rams to completely get this thing rolling the wrong way. And the 49ers took care of business. This defense, Armstead, Bosa, Key, Ebucom, and then you got Fred Warner and Dre Greenlaw flying around into the backfield on these blitzes. It was a nice, well-timed performance from D'Amico Ryans. He knew what he had to do. He had to hold on and give his team an opportunity to win. He did that. And there was a stretch from the end of the second quarter until into the fourth quarter where the Rams offense basically goes away. It disappears. That allows Kyle Shanahan the time to be able to get this run game established, get Jimmy Garoppolo to feel comfortable enough to make the throws. And overall, I didn't think the ball looked weird coming out of his hand, except for the one weird screen pass to George Kittle, where it looked like he just I think he was trying
to pull it back. And then he just realized he couldn't.
Yeah, Von Miller's right there. So that was one. And then, of course, when he gets hit on the Aaron Donald comes around on the stunt and hits him, the old El Paso stunt as it would be, and gets in there, and then he floats the ball up and it gets picked off. But I didn't think the thumb was the reason. Maybe the thumb for the fumble. That's a possibility.
Maybe.
But overall, once again, Alex, a big topic of this game was the turnover battle, 2-2. So the 49ers did not lose the turnover battle, and they win the game. That is a key. The Rams were able to make things happen off their turnovers. The 49ers weren't, except for one of those turnovers sealed the freaking game. Ambry Thomas with a great play.
Huge play, Ant. Absolutely huge play from this team. Absolutely huge play just overall from the Niners, top to bottom. It doesn't matter who it is. Brad Jones had mentioned earlier some injuries from Kyle Shanahan post-game. Mitch Wishnowski obviously dealing with the concussion. Talanoa Hufanga dealing with a knee. Tart with a groin. And apparently Trent Williams was stupid close to being able to play today, but they decided last minute for that not to be the case. Ralph said an interesting thing here. Ralph says, like Montana before him, Jimmy G needs to put down the Cowboys and he will be our QB next year. I don't think that's the case. I think you need a lot more than putting down the Cowboys for Jimmy G to remain.
Super Bowl.
It's a Super Bowl. It's 100% a Super Bowl.
If Jimmy helps lead this football team through the Cowboys, through the Packers, and then through Tampa Bay or whoever's waiting after that, and then he gets to the Super Bowl and he gets it done, yes, there's going to be so much pressure on the 49ers to run it back with Jimmy Garoppolo. If that doesn't happen, though, hello, Trey Lance.
Yeah, that's or Aaron Rodgers. Brad Jones here. McVay now 45-1 after leading at halftime. Accurate. Very
Kyle
accurate.
Shanahan
Brad.
is the one behind the one. 45-1. Yeah. You think Aaron Donald knows who Debo is yet?
Yeah, he has to.
Yeah.
He has to now, right? I mean, and he can pass. He can pass. You posted it. I posted it. As soon as the ball left his hands, I got onto Twitter and started searching through GIFs. I need this GIF in my life. And he can pass.
Yeah, really and he can pass. Like I said, that's why I wanted him to catch the ball. If he would have caught a touchdown pass, and he had an opportunity there in the fourth quarter to catch that touchdown pass, but Jimmy left it a little smoking high, which, I mean, I was just glad Jimmy had some zip on the football. Let's be honest. I mean, I was worried that he was not going to be able to have the zip that he had in the football game, but he looked pretty good. And actually, I felt like he threw some pretty good passes. And I know he got a little bit of criticism for the JaMychal Hasty one going down the sideline. And I couldn't believe that Buck and Aikman didn't know that he was going back shoulder on that. If you want to argue that he should have went over the top because JaMychal beat him, that's a good argument. but he obviously went back shoulder. Jermichael Hasty would have caught it if the arm doesn't get there. It's a great defensive play, but it's not a bad throw at the time. It was a good play call. So really, there's no complaints besides the defender executed and got the play done. I didn't really have any problems with that.
No, I didn't either. But although Buck and Aikman were atrocious today, the anti-Niners slander the entire broadcast was very apparent.
Except Aikman for Jimmy Garoppolo. Very supportive of Jimmy Garoppolo.
That's it. That's the only pro Niners thing that was there. But hey,
so are they gonna be Monday night next week? Do you think the NFL is gonna go Niners Cowboys on Monday night?
Why wouldn't you? Why wouldn't you? Is there a better matchup? Is there a better matchup in this playoffs? I mean, you're gonna have in the NFC. Don't think so. If you look in the NFC picture, you're gonna have what? Who's the 2 seed now? The Bucks. You have the Bucks Eagles. That's a rematch of earlier this year. No.
I'm taking the Eagles.
You're gonna have Rams Cardinals.
Rams Cardinals. That sounds like that sounds like a nice Saturday game.
I agree with you. I think it sounds like a nice Saturday game too. Dude, it feels like this is Monday night.
Right. Or unless there's an
Sunday
AFC
night.
Matchup.
Unless they go Sunday matchup. Unless they go Sunday night. They could go Sunday night with the game.
That's true.
It's gonna be one of those two. It's either Sunday night football or Monday night. That game cannot be anything but those two.
Yeah. And you know what? The 49ers still have an opportunity, Alex, to get even more healthy. Mohamed Sanu could be back. Jawan Jennings is obviously wide receiver 3. I don't think there's any question.
That's
but I think Mohamed Sanu as wide receiver 4. And then you know what we saw a lot today? Trent Sherfield actually on the field and Travis Benjamin. Mm-hmm. In fact, the ball, when Jimmy fumbles the ball, I want to watch that on the All-22 because now if the NFL ever puts it up on Game Pass. But my belief is that Travis Benjamin, they were taking a whole shot and he was open down the field. I wish I could see that, and I'm sure somebody probably saw it, but I think that the Kyle Shanahan was out there. I mean, he was just letting it fly. He did not look like he was I know in that third quarter he did establish the run game with the 8 straight runs, but to me it didn't feel like he was trying to protect Jimmy Garoppolo as much as he was trying to establish the run game and take back the physicality from the Rams, because I thought the Rams took it to the Niners in the first half. And in the second half, the Niners reestablished no. Okay, you guys may have beat me up for the first part of this game, but now I'm going to go finish you. And that's what I thought they did in the second half.
1,000%. And listen, we got a lot of great comments here. Megan wants to talk about the D line and the O line. They played lights out today. They played pretty well. D line played fantastic yet again, and being able to stop the run with 7 in the box consistently. You'll love to see that. Chris Wendersky here talking about run D is tops in the NFL right now. I agree. 100%. It can't get any better.
They're playing 7-man boxes and stopping the Rams with 2 extra offensive linemen on the field.
Oh yeah.
All the Rams people that came through that said the Rams are going to absolutely run the ball on us and that we wouldn't be able to stop Cam Akers. Ha 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 ha. Get out of here with that noise. Get out of here with that noise.
And they were wrong. They were 100% wrong. Ralph said Ralph said earlier, that is accurate. That is 100% accurate.
Do you think they try to bring in Jimmy just so they don't have to play him anymore?
You might. You might want to consider it because G-many Christmas almighty.
If I'm the Niners, I'm like editing every single picture to show Dak Prescott and all them in Rams gear and being like, no, Jimmy, we're playing the Rams. It's not the Cowboys. They just changed their colors.
Yeah. It's just the no yellow. They decided to go with white. And they want the white. They love that white.
And Jimmy threw for over, I know before you go right on, Jimmy also threw for over 300 yards in this game.
Again.
Yeah.
Again, Ant. He did it again, Ant. The Jennings TD to go to overtime was a bullet from Josh Cooper. It really was. Luke Luna with a 99-cent super sticker, Ant. The heart emojis. He's loving it. He's drooling over this win, and I would be too. I would absolutely be as well. If I didn't have a podcast, I don't want to embarrass myself on TV. Did you see the slow-mo replay of Jimmy G and one of his linemen going for the high five and Jimmy pulling his back, the thumb, and hand at the last second with Mike and Tomlinson? 100%. I was dying. I was absolutely dying with that. That was great. That was absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, well, I mean, Jimmy looked like, he was protecting the thumb, but he definitely let it roll out there. I was excited, and let's keep going through these comments because I know it's blowing up, and I want to let all these people kind of have their say in this game.
Lou here said, "What happened to Aaron Donald today?" Haha, Angel with another laugh after that. Shooter
Brunskill still owns Donald, by the way. His pressures were on Tomlinson. His pressures are on Tomlinson, not even on Brunskill.
Dude,
Brunskill is Aaron Donald's daddy.
He's daddy, bro. It's daddy Brunskill,
crazy.
bro.
It makes
it's ridiculous.
No sense.
It doesn't. I don't understand it. I'll never understand it. I will never understand it in 1,000 years, Ant. Jiminy Christmas. Shooter updated. He's TCC member now on the channel member for 4 months, and 4 months. Who gets the game ball?
Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan gets the game ball for me because Kyle Shanahan stuck with everything that when everything started looking awry, he could have turned to Trey at that moment. He could have just said, you know what, Jimmy doesn't have it, but he stuck by his guns. And also in the third quarter, he stuck by the run game. Even when they're down by 14 points, he sticks with it, and it ends up working out. The Rams are on the field for it at a ton of time in the second half, and I thought that was huge. I'm giving the game ball to him, but I'm also saying that some of these young cats stepped up in a big way, and they deserve game balls as well. Juwan Jennings going out there making plays, Brandon Ayuk making plays, Deebo Samuel making freaking plays, and Ambry Thomas sealing the deal. So you had big-time money guys making plays, and you had a lot of these young cats who are going to be big-time players for this team moving forward.
Dude, so many. I mean, just so many great things. Google account too. I'm not gonna lie, Trent Williams being out scared the F out of me. It worked out in the end though. 100%, especially early in that game. Colton McKivitz was getting worked a little bit. And it was getting a little concerning.
Well, I thought it was over in the fourth quarter when he got absolutely destroyed by Von Miller.
Dude.
Von Miller, I mean, just worked him on the speed rush. That the wrist, control that he got, it was a little quick. Wrist pulled it down. McKivitz couldn't get his hands on him. He bends the corner and gets the sack on Jimmy. Alex, I thought that might be game, set, and match. But thank God, this is it. Sean McVay, how did he not throw for that? Dude. And try to put the 49ers away? You got to put them down.
Thank you, Sean.
And instead, he didn't want them to have one timeout. Thank you, Sean McVay. That is not the kind. I looked at my dad and I said, hey, you know what's going to happen? They're going to throw for it right now. Sean McVay's going to go for it. And they did not. And that completely blew me away.
That'll be the last time he ever makes that mistake. Ever.
Yeah, he was the conservative one today, and Kyle Shanahan was the aggressor. And Kyle Shanahan walked away with the victory because Elijah Mitchell, too, by the way, anyone that has said at any point in time that Elijah Mitchell can't read, can't cut, is not a good running back, stop watching football. Just stop. You're done. This guy is fantastic. He's one of the better running backs in the league. His vision, his balance, he runs physical.
His contact balance is
perfect
off.
For Kyle Shanahan's offense.
His contact balance is off the hook, man. It is off the hook.
Yeah.
The way he's able to keep driving and keep himself upright and just continue going is just it's so fantastic. It is great. It is just glorious. What do you think about Jimmy's second pick, and should it have been roughing the passer on Jimmy? First off, it 100% was roughing the passer on Jimmy Garoppolo. And I got into it on Twitter with a couple people who were like, it was a terrible throw. He choked. He folded under pressure in the moment. And I was like, folded under pressure in the moment. He was getting hit as he released. Like he got hit as he released.
It's a bad throw.
It wasn't a great throw, but he got hit as he released.
I know.
And he got hit in the head.
Bad throw.
I'm just saying.
Alex,
he got hit
you're right.
It
is 100% a penalty. It should be a penalty. Any other quarterback in this league besides maybe Cam Newton gets that call.
Here's the thing. Every 49er fan, too, that is the anti-Jimmy Garoppolo, if that were Trey Lance in that situation, would be screaming bloody murder. Every single one.
I'm a 49er fan, so I don't care if it was Nate Sudfeld.
Correct.
I want that penalty. But Jimmy Garoppolo, number one, he's trying to protect George Kittle because there's a defender coming from the top.
Correct.
But pre-snap, that is not a good read. You had Jalen Ramsey covering George Kittle in the slot. I saw it pre-snap. Don't go there. Find somewhere else. When you see number 5, just don't do it. That's how good Jalen Ramsey is. And Jalen Ramsey made a freaking great catch to find that ball and be able to bring it in. That was a great play by him, and it almost caused his team to win. He is really that dude, except for when he ran into Deebo Samuel and he thought he hit Deebo hard, but Deebo stayed up and he landed on the ground. I'm like, I love you, Jalen, because I'm a Florida State guy, but come on now. You came full speed and then Deebo chucked you on the ground.
Yeah.
No.
He thought he did it. He thought he was that guy, and he really wasn't.
Yeah, he did.
I thought Trey was coming in at halftime from Tommy Christian. Today, I'm proud of Jimmy.
Yeah.
Very proud of Jimmy. David Campbell.
Well said.
David Campbell used his super chat as well, and 4-month TCC member here on YouTube.
Nice.
What about Greenlaw? He looked like he hadn't even missed any time at all. He looked hungry. He looked like he wanted to go make an impact, and at times it was a little on the
face mask.
That was bad. Face mask was bad.
That was terrible.
Yeah, it was.
Hey, I threw out. I didn't tweet it, but I threw out some Greenlaw slander in that moment. It's like, come on, Dre. Like, I love Dre Greenlaw, but that was a dumb play. But he was absolutely flying around, and he did make an impact on this game. If Al-Shaair can be back for next week, the 49ers linebacker core, because did you see the way they used Dre Greenlaw? And David Campbell brings up Greenlaw, and that's a good point, because Greenlaw was covering Akers and Sony Michel outside. They manned him up one-on-one and let Fred play in the middle. This is what we've been talking about. That's the difference between having Dre on the field and having Al-Shaair on the field, and how it affects what Fred Warner does. And this game was very evident of that. And once again, Flanagan fouls, getting big-time snaps, and coming through fouls. Way to go. Against Chicago, no.
So much. No, not so much.
But since then, great improvement, great job. And now I'm glad to have him on the roster for sure.
Oh, 100%, Ant. 100% there in that regard and in that situation. I'm trying to pull up the stats here because I just saw Ralph said that Ayuk did have 6 catches for 107 yards. That was a quiet 100-yard game from Brandon Ayuk.
Oh, no, he had some, because they were all pivotal plays, right?
Correct. They're all pivotal plays, but he's overshadowed by Debo. Well,
and maybe even overshadowed by Juwan Jennings, who has 2 touchdowns and 80-something yards?
It's true.
Juwan Jennings was an ankle away from powering into the end zone and finishing off overtime.
It's true.
That's literally what it came down to. Juwan Jennings won one-on-one matchups. And what did we talk about early in the season? He needed to be able to win one-on-ones. That was something we struggled with last year from the third receiver. We did not struggle with that in this game because Juwan freaking Jennings was out there getting it done, man.
Correct, man. He really did. Josh Cooper, I brought up something earlier. He said, thought he was going to go for the dagger. He chickened out when he's talking about McVay. He really just didn't want the Niners to have those timeouts. I guess he thought that, the Niners weren't going to be able to put that kind of drive together this late in the season. And if that's the case, Sean McVay, what have you been watching all year? Because this is something Jimmy Garoppolo has consistently done, and this offense has consistently done with him at quarterback. With 2 minutes, a minute and a half left on the clock, they are going to go down the field and give themselves a chance to score. They've been doing that all year. Yeah,
they're actually, I think, the second best team in the league at scoring with under 2 minutes in the first half. It's been a tremendous turnaround from what we saw from San Francisco in the past, and that's winning football. When you can have those turnarounds, and that's what changes these games. The last 2 minutes of the first half combined with that first drive of the second half, when you defer and you get the ball in the second half, those are the pivotal moments. Those change games in a positive way, and the momentum got going in a huge way because of that. As soon as the 49ers got that field goal, it felt like, wow, we played as bad as we played in that first half, and we still are within striking distance. And then that opening drive of the second half just put it in full momentum drive. The 49ers were not going to be stopped, but we can't get there, of course, Alex, without that 3 and out of the first drive of the second half for the Rams. The 49ers defense shows up, gets it done, and then next thing you know, here we go, it's 17-17.
100%, 100%. Brad asked, did Cup get both records, have the game on mute? I know he didn't get the receiving yard record. I think he needed 136 yards or 100 and I think it might have been 160 yards is what he needed total. He only got 118 on the game. So no, he did not get the receiving yard. I'm going to Roger Maris
any records that got set today. Any records that got set today are getting Roger Maris from me.
So let me ask because I need to ask this. JJ Watt gets the sack record, takes over Strahan's. He did miss 2 games during the year. Do you still give it to him?
I believe he tied it, by the way, 22 and a half.
No, he got a full sack at the end of the game. Towards the end of the game,
okay.
Yeah, to get himself over. So he got the actual sack record. He did sit out 2 games. So even though he missed 2 games, it's going to be under Strahan's. He doesn't have this opportunity if there's no week 18, right?
No. Yeah, I don't give it to him. No.
Okay. I like it. So
asterisk
in the record book.
I'm putting an asterisk. It's a great performance. It 100% is a great 23 and a half sacks in any season is fantastic.
Correct.
But you have anyone that kind of have that extra game, it's like, well, let's keep it in perspective. What would Jerry Rice or what would Michael Strahan would have done in those situations if they had an extra game to play?
It's true. Very, very true, Ant. Very, very true. Hats off to Brandon for bouncing back from a slow start this year. And how about gold from Matthew Raleigh? 1,000%. Robbie Gold, perfect on extra points, which is just great to see. Kicking field goals with use check holding, and then going out there and dropping a couple of very nice punts as well. And hats off to Robbie Gold. Someone mentioned earlier, I forget who it was, but someone mentioned earlier, right? And no one's going to complain about the $8 million you're supposed to pay Robbie after that. No, not after that performance.
Yeah, Lou said it.
There you go.
Yeah.
Debo is the best offensive weapon in the NFL, hands down, from Josh Cooper. Yes. 1,000% yes. 1,000% yes. And Jennings
That's
stepping
my
up
next
huge.
jersey purchase, by the way. Next jersey purchase is Debo Samuel. I'm going white too. I'm going white Debo.
And we'll match, because I got the throwback white Debos. I got the
All right, then I'll go
white.
the traditional white. I don't want to match you.
Okay, that's fair. That's fair. Yeah, I understand. Once again, the Niners made Aaron Donald a non-factor from longtime Niner fan. 100% they did. Ant. What was Elijah Mitchell's total rushing yards from Jay Ellie? I'm pulling it up right now. It looks as though it was 21 carries for 85 yards. And I know someone in the Cutback crew dropped that as well in the comment section a little bit earlier. So there it is. And Shooter saying that he finished with 22 and a half sacks. So maybe they took something away.
Yeah, that's what I thought too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So they took something away from him. So yeah, Mitchell goes 21 for 85. And I'll tell you what, after the early part of this game, when the Niners weren't getting that run game going, and I was a little worried. I was a little bit worried.
No, the first half, the run game just wasn't there. You've seen it. They were trying to, attack, but the Rams were doing a good job. It wasn't until the second half when they really established it. And I think a lot of it was timely things, but I think they made some second half adjustments too in how they wanted to block it. They seen what they were doing, and they brought back some of the old things that they were doing the first time they played the Rams. They would bring in, these guys in motion, and even Travis Benjamin, just to occupy someone's eyes in a little jet sweep type of action, a little flyby, and it was garnering attention from the running backs and creating running lanes. So even though he wasn't making a block, it was getting attention, and that's what it came down to. And then you saw them just doing the Kyle Juszczyk, George Kittle coming back, and then winning at the point of attack. Anytime you start hearing a team start yelling that holding from the sideline, that means I'm getting my butt absolutely kicked, and I need help from you refs because I can't win on my own.
Accurate, Ant. That's very accurate. That's exactly what happened. And someone just mentioned here, Brad asked, how many sacks did Bosa have today? He had half a sack, 5 total tackles. I think it was Dre Greenlaw led the team with 12 tackles on the day for Dre Greenlaw. He was flying all over the place. Sean Turner said Jimmy did well, and he said Jennings played a great game. He really did. Jawan Jennings stepping up in a huge way. Kyle Shanahan was kind of asked pregame, why Mohamed Sanu wasn't active, and he said it's because Jawan Jennings has played so well. He's played so well, he can't not have him on the field. Well,
and then they had Travis Benjamin a part of this game plan, and you need, and you need him and Sherfield on. You definitely need Sherfield on special teams, and they opted to keep River Craycraft playing special teams. So that is why Mohamed Sanu's on the field. Maybe we'll see Mohamed Sanu activated for the playoffs.
It's very true, Ant. Very, very true. I thought Hasty stepped up big time as well. He had a couple huge catches, some very nice things there from Michael Hasty.
The nice run to convert on third down.
Huge.
Where they put Debo in the backfield and they faked it to him and they ran the little underneath give to Michael Hasty, and he ran through the middle and got tough yards. This is the first time we saw a 2 halfback style look where we had Debo kind of behind in the pistol. It was an interesting look.
100% Shooter. I felt like Armstead had a big game today. He really did. Google counts at Armstead with 2.5 sacks. JLAAA monstered that weak Rams O-line. We said this, right? We said this in the pregame show. We said this in the game plan video. That interior O-line for the Rams is suspect at best. Yeah. It's questionable. And if DJ Jones is rolling early, that means, Eric Armstead and Bosa are taking up doubles and possibly with Bosa triple teams and getting chipped and all this fun stuff. DJ wrecked shop early, and then they made a switch over and started focusing a little bit more on DJ. And then Eric Armstead started feasting. And when you got guys in the interior feasting like that consistently, and at one point they moved Armstead on the interior, on the outside on a pass rush down, and he just bullied his way straight through for a big half sack with Arden Key. And again, Arden Key, one of the most unsung heroes in all of this. What a signing by the 49ers. The move to the interior was everything that he needed it to be. Chris Kasarik, man, you just tip your hat to the GOAT D-line coach in the NFL, because this man, it doesn't matter what pieces you give him, and you give him pieces that he wants to work with. He knows what to do with them. just get me a healthy Javon Kinlaw in the offseason, a full offseason Javon Kinlaw healthy, working with Chris Kasarik, man. And I don't even please, I want to see what this D-line looks like next year.
Yeah, and I was excited about Samson Ebukam as well. I thought there were a couple plays where he took on a double team. They tried to block him with a tight end and a running back. He threw them out of the way and pressured him up into DJ Jones. And then another time, I don't know if you saw that, but he's out in coverage on a zone blitz scheme, and he's right there, and the ball gets dropped, but he would have made the tackle short of the sticks. So Samson Ebukam, they're using his versatility to help. You always wonder who they were going to drop out because they did like running these zone concepts. When we went over our all-22 film on the Know Your Opponent, Alex, we talked about them running the zone concepts to help eliminate what Cooper Kupp does because they could kind of, shield him underneath. And they used it again in this game, and I thought D'Amico Ryan schemed it up as well. D'Amico Ryans is easily one of the best defensive coordinators in the league. I don't even think it's close. The scary part is he's probably going to get a couple of calls for head coaches this year. I don't know if he gets a job this year, but after next year, he's probably going to be a head coach.
We are going to go through back-to-back defensive coordinators getting hired. It's going to happen. D'Amico, Robert Saleh, I think it was about a year or two ago, made a comment about D'Amico Ryans and said that he was going to be an upcoming coach that people needed to keep an eye out for. Saleh leaves, D'Amico Ryans steps in, and this defense doesn't really take much of a drop off. He lost pieces early in the season. So people who were upset with D'Amico Ryans early in this year, you and I both thought he was doing an incredible job. He's just playing without some of the key pieces that he thought he was going to have. But he's come through in a huge way. This defense has elevated and stepped up each and every week that they've needed to, and we need stops from them. They take care of it in a big way. This defense has kept us in football games. They kept us in this football game today. The offense got rolling when it needed to. And you're right, he's going to get some phone calls, but that's going to be more of like testing the water. I don't think anyone's going to actually pull the trigger on D'Amico Ryans right now because it's too early to tell. But if this defense comes out in 2022, 2023 season and puts together this kind of performance again, he's probably going to be gone and we're going to be back to square one. So I imagine there's going to be a lot of conversations within the 49ers about what you're going to do about the D coordinator position because D'Amico Ryans doesn't have much longer in San Francisco.
No, probably not. And you don't know if they're going to actually have to be able to bring someone from within again. I mean, maybe they are, working with somebody that's going to eventually take over. Somebody else to watch is, Chris Kasarik's assistant there, the defensive line. Start watching to see if he starts making a move as well. We'll see what happens. But I think ultimately they might have to go outside the organization. We'll see. But I think that I'm hoping we can hold on to D'Amico Ryans for another year because when it comes down to it, yes, he's a nice, bright, young coach and it deserves that job. But in the same regard, most teams in the NFL are looking for offensive minds as a head coach because most of them that are struggling, that fire their coach, are going to have new young quarterbacks. So he would fit more into an established role. So I think he has to wait a little bit of time.
Very true. David Campbell, Vic Fangio is available, and he's laughing cry faces. But JLA said, always liked Vic. I didn't hate Vic Fangio as a D coordinator, man.
Different scheme. I mean, So are you going to switch to the 3-4?
I don't think so.
Armstead going to go back to running the 5-tech? No, because you have Chris Kasarik running the wide 9.
Yep.
You will see somebody from that tree, that Kyle Shanahan tree. They talked about Raheem Morris. They've talked about all these other guys. Depending on what happens with the Raiders, here in the next couple of years, Gus Bradley could be available again. Another guy that would fit the system. So you're going to have guys that are available that come from that tree. And eventually Kyle might have to bring one of them in, or who knows, maybe there's an heir apparent we're just not aware of yet.
1,000%. And we got SL Million here. Dude, Debo is OP. He can catch, he can run, and he can pass, which he can. He can do all of those things. Lou, did you notice the chokehold the tackle had on Bosa on the interception? 100%. I was screaming, that's a hold! That's a hold! As the ball was getting released. And then saw Aubrey Thomas go up in the air and no longer cared about the holding because that was basically GG's game over. But I mean, yes, it happens all year long. It's going to continue happening. The Niners D line is going to get held. That's what you have to do when you got the GOAT. When you got the GOAT in Chris Kasarik and he's got his guys playing way above anywhere. I mean, guys who come and play for Chris Kasarik and don't play like this anywhere else.
Any worry, Alex, on that last throw that Aubrey Thomas is going to mistime his jump and that ball was going over the top?
Don't you dare for a split second, because I think it was Odell, right? Odell kept running.
Yeah.
There was a brief moment where I was like, oh no, this is the one thing. And then I saw the ball coming into screen and I was like, oh, we're good. Just catch the thing. Just catch the thing. And he caught it. And it was just like, that's it. I literally walked out of the room. Megan goes, did he catch it? I was like, that's game. Came in here, get ready. Let's get ready for the pod. Let's get ready for the reaction show, because that is an interception. That is 100% an interception.
Yeah, exactly.
100%, Ant. Ryan's the man. I think he will be next year. He will get a job. Probably will. Ralph, you can tell your wife we're going to beat the Cowboys from Keith Kloss. Keith,
there you go.
That is absolutely savage. 94 yards for Jennings. Know your stats from Ralph. Look, apparently Mike Mayock is getting fired from the Raiders as well. I wouldn't be surprised if they're not just going to clean house there. If they're not just going to clean house and go a different direction.
What if they make the playoffs?
We'll see. Well, actually, you know what, Ant? I think they're in no matter what.
I thought the tie between Ravens and Steelers would have put them in, but I don't think they're in 100% yet.
They have to win. You're right. They have to win to get in. Now, if both teams tie tonight, if the Raiders tie the Chargers, I think both teams get in. Both teams get in with the tie. If the Chargers win, they're in. But I think the Steelers, in order to get in, they need the Chargers to win. If the Chargers win, then the Steelers would be the 7th seed, I believe, and the Chargers would be the 6th. I think that's how that works out.
I don't know if you saw, but Lou said Robert Saleh might be available by then.
In a couple of years, hey, you know what? If it gets really bad next year, he's actually not wrong. And Lou might not be wrong. The New York Jets are not notorious for holding on to coaches for a long time.
No. When you go there, you're like, hello, darkness, my old friend.
Yeah, you're right. You're definitely right. Matthew Rowley here, RIP Bob Saget. I saw that, someone had reported he had passed. So if it is true, because I'm still hearing conflicting reports that it's all a hoax and people are
about
lying.
Who?
Bob Saget.
Oh, wow.
So apparently he has passed. If that is the case, RIP, that is really sad. That is really sad. Let's see. Adam Peters, such an asset for the 49ers. Absolutely. A fire alarm just went off in Jimmy G's press conference because he was on fire from Brad Jones. I thought he was being serious. That was good. That was absolutely fantastic. Holy cow. Niners had exactly 30 called run plays, not including Jimmy G scrambling. And Tommy, he passed away at 65. So, I mean, if Tommy's saying it, I got to believe Tommy here. That's really sad to hear about Bob Saget. That's unfortunate. Really
I just clicked on. It is official.
Oh my.
Bob Saget, yeah, he passed away at 65. They found him dead inside that Orlando hotel room.
That is awful. I was just saying, my buddy was down in Florida. He just told me he went and saw him last night. So
yeah,
he had a show last night that he did. So that is absolutely unfortunate. I missed the second half of the game. Did Huff and Tart have major injuries from Android user? I don't think so. I don't know if they're major or not. I know Kyle's saying that. Go ahead.
Tommy said something about it being a groin for Tart, but I don't know. I don't remember what it was for Hufanga.
Hufanga's a knee. I think that's what I read.
The same knee, the same thing he had.
I think so. Okay. I think that might be the case. So that may not be a good sign if it's the same knee. But we're gonna see this. We're just gonna wait to see.
I mean, if Tart is there, I'm okay. We need one of those guys, and that one that we really need the most is Tart. Even though I want Hufanga, I need Tart a little bit more.
Yeah. Tart a lot more. Let's see. Do you think that Key is just a product of talent around him or a superstar in the making? I think well, Key is, he's obviously a product of the talent around him. The talent around him is allowing him the opportunity to have some success. But here's the thing. I don't think he was coached up in Oakland with the Raiders. I don't think he was coached up. I don't think he was a good fit for what they had him trying to do. And I think Chris Kasarik and this team have him in the right spot, and he's being coached up. And I think that's leading to success. Here's my only concern for Arden Key. He could go somewhere else and get paid. That could happen. But we've seen this with a lot of the 49ers D linemen. Ask Kerry Hyder. Kerry Hyder wasn't a world beater. He got paid, but he wasn't a world beater for the Seattle Seahawks. In fact, at the end of the season, Kerry Hyder wasn't even the guy that was on the field playing significant snaps. They're going a different direction. So there is a lot to say about what Chris Kasarik and this D line does here. Yes, Arden Key is playing out of his mind and is an extremely young, talented, untapped potential player. But how much of that, Ant, do you think is because of what Chris Kasarik and his D-line is able to do in the situations they put him in?
It's system fit. I mean, that's why he came to San Francisco. That's why him and Maurice Hurst wanted to be in San Francisco to play in this system, because it's a lot different than the system that they play in Las Vegas with the Raiders. So he's tasked with doing different things. He's able to play more free. He's able to be aggressive. He's able to penetrate. That is why he came to San Francisco, and now he's seeing the dividends of it. Yes, Chris Kasarik is going to coach him up because he coaches a certain style of defense that fits a very athletic player. Arden Key was a second-round pick or third-round pick for a reason. A very talented guy coming out of LSU with a lot of potential. He's long. Those are all things that work in your favor as a pass rusher, and that's what he's being used at. He's basically specializing most of the time as a pass rusher. He comes in, late in third down situations for DJ Jones, gets in there, and then he's able to run all kinds of stunts and things with his athletic ability, but is also able to play the run if necessary. So I hope that they're able to retain him, because if they can, he's going to be a big part of this defensive line for a long time. But we'll see what happens, because, I mean, when you have the opportunity to go strike while the iron's hot, you go do it, because you want to get that money to take care of your family. You've been putting forth that effort. Just hopefully it works out that he can stay here in San Francisco and get paid here.
True. Tommy's saying tart groin. He is out for the season, bro. I haven't heard that. I haven't seen that reported anyway.
Okay.
I just know that he's got a groin injury. He was questionable to return in the game. They never even officially ruled him out. He was just questionable. So we'll have to wait to see what happens. Megan said, what did you guys think of the Indy dumpster fire game? I didn't get to watch a whole lot of it. It was kind of bouncing in and out with it. Definitely looks like the Jacksonville Jaguars took away a strength. They took away a strength of Indianapolis Colts in the run game. And we said this, the Jacksonville Jaguars actually have a pretty solid run defense, especially when they have the way they play it, with the guys in the box and things of that nature. And unfortunately for them, it's a situation where Carson Wentz didn't get it done. They didn't take care of the football. They weren't able to get things going. And Trevor Lawrence threw for 200 yards in the first half. Finally showed why he's a good guy. Yeah,
and he made some pretty interesting throws. I thought that the one where the snap goes over his head and he's able to get the ball to the back of the end zone, I thought that was a great throw.
True.
But, I mean, this is why you play every single game in the NFL, because you never know who could defeat who. And matchups are, one of those things that it can be crazy. And unfortunately, the Colts got caught up in it, and Jacksonville struggled a little bit.
Very true. And Tommy clarified, he didn't hear out for the season. It's just his guess. So Tommy's thinking he's going to be out for the season. Tommy is going, he's doing my thing. You prepare for the worst and hope for the best sort of scenario that Tommy's going with. I understand it, Tommy. I understand it. Megan, like and share the video, TCC fam. Agreed. Like, hit the share button, and subscribe if you haven't already. If this is your first time here, hit that subscribe button.
Tart didn't say anything on his own Twitter. The only post that he has on Twitter right now is that basically we're playoff bound. I'm proud of this team, and kind of like a let's go type thing. So we'll see what comes out from this. Hopefully it's not an end of the season thing for Tart, and that he's able to go, because we could definitely use him for not only for the playoff run, but especially against Dallas, because they're going to come out there with some big time weapons.
Hey, Carson Elite Wentz at JLE. Wentz hit 2 interceptions in 3 consecutive passes. Impressive.
There you go.
Hey, isn't Carson Wentz Jay Hill's boy?
He was. I don't know if Jay Hill's still going to claim him after this.
We'll see. We'll see. Lou, rather would pay DJ Jones if I have to choose between him and Arden Key.
Yeah, I think that's fair. I mean, DJ Jones is a guy that's a elite run stopper, where Arden Key's more of a pass rush specialist. I think in a perfect world, you want to keep both of them. The question is, would you release someone like Samson Ebukam? He has 1 more year left on his deal. Would you release him so that way you could sign both of them? That might be the give and take that you have to do. But if the 49ers go young at the cornerback position, you have Ambry Thomas, you already have Emmanuel Mosley under contract for 1 more year. You don't have to pay money to the cornerback position. Maybe that saves you. But you're going to have to make some decisions as well at the safety position. So we'll see where they can free up money, because they do have contracts coming down the line. But yeah, I think if they can keep this defensive line intact for the most part, they would like to do that. But then again, Chris Kasarik could just fall in love with someone and say, no, you know what, I don't need either one of these guys, because I can create another one that's just like them.
Accurate, Ant. That is something that Chris Kasarik very well could do. Frank here, Ant. Frank Saladivar, one of our GOAT tier members over on Patreon. 4 games to go, folks. 4 games to go. That is 100% accurate. And Tommy Huxley letting Marketing Pro know that he's laughing at him right now because of all that trash he was talking. He was talking a lot of trash. He
came in the live stream on Thursday, and he thought he was just going to throw around, oh, you guys are going to start Trey, you guys are going to lose, you guys can't win, ha, ha, ha. How'd that work out? I haven't seen Marketing Pro. Where you at?
I don't know where he is, Ant. David V, by the way, brother scored last-minute tickets. Was great. That is awesome, man. Happy you got to go. What a game to go to. And shout out to Wade and Breezy, by the way. Ant flew all the way across the country for that game. Good call. Good call there, Wayne.
Yeah, I mean, the 49er fans were out in force at SoFi. There were times in the fourth quarter where the 49er fans were so loud, it felt like it was at Levi's. So well done for the faithful for traveling and making a huge impact in this game, because that is something you need. And the 49ers fans travel better than any other fan base in the NFL.
100% is. Keep Jay Willis, homie, from Sean Bullard. And D Ford, is he out of here?
I don't think D Ford is out of here, because I don't think money wise it's going to make sense. I think minus a retirement from him with a post June 1 designation, I don't think that he's going to be out of here, because financially it doesn't make a lot of sense. But I mean, I just don't know if the guy's ever going to play again.
I don't know if he will either, Ant. It's really unfortunate because he looked good early on in the season, and it looked like he had kind of figured things out and the health was going to be there. And then just took a left turn. And you know, you're dealing with neck, backs issues and situations. It can do that very quickly.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. When it comes to neck and back, there's just no timetable. And you can wake up one morning and it feels great, and the next morning you wake up and you can barely walk. And when you're that big and you have that kind of physical ask of your body, and when you're not able to meet those expectations, then you can have problems. And unfortunately his body wasn't able to hold up this year at all, and it wasn't able last year at the end of the season as well either.
Accurate. So I mean, yeah, you're just in a bad situation if you're D Ford. We'll see what happens. The Niners don't save a whole lot if they move off of him. Matter of fact, I don't think they save much of anything if they move off of him, even with a post one. The only thing that could save it for them is if there's some sort of retirement or injury settlement out of the retirement situation, in which they can maybe get some money back, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, and you see Tommy Huxley said undefeated at SoFi. Whose house? Niners house. That's where the Super Bowl is. So if the 49ers can get there, you would think that would give them a huge advantage, right?
100%. 100% going to it. You have to believe that that's the case. McGlinchey tweeted that the Rams had to go silent count a few times. That's pretty funny.
Huge, man. That's huge. When you're an away team and you're getting that kind of, loud reaction from your fans, I mean, that changes the game. I mean, wow, big time right there.
Drive safe, Gary. I'm in the car on my way home. TCC, he's got a smiley face. Drive safe, my guy. Glad to hear from you. Glad you're good. Jimmy G did get a lot of praise from Terry Bradshaw, apparently in the post game from SL Million, so that's good. It's good to hear. Niners getting some praise. Jimmy getting some praise. That was a gutsy performance from Jimmy Garoppolo.
Yeah, it was. I mean, Jimmy Garoppolo came out there and did what he needed to do. He had a couple of really bad mistakes, a couple of balls that I thought he left behind receivers. And you know what? Overall, though, I thought that he played well enough to help the 49ers win. The two big mistakes were tough, but overall the team was able to overcome them. And I'm hoping that Jimmy Garoppolo, as this continues, is only going to be able to learn to use that thumb a little bit better and get better and better as we go through. So let's see how this thing holds up. Let's see if he's able to practice on Wednesday. Because I think that, if he is, he still gives the 49ers the best chance right now to win football games. And ultimately, that's all you want is a chance when you're in the playoffs.
Just a chance. That's all you want. You want to get into the dance and have an opportunity, and the Niners have that now. Tio, what are the odds of seeing Josh Norman again? Slim to none, barring an injury.
It's injury. It's injury-wise. I think that is where the other thing, Alex, I wonder if we would see Josh Norman flip positions. Could he go to safety if Jaquiski Tartt is indeed out, him and Hufanga out? Do you roll with a Josh Norman at safety? He's a smart guy. He understands what he's supposed to do, and speed-wise, he's more a fit for safety. I don't know if he could do it in this quick of a transition, but he understands what his roles are. He's used to playing a deep third. Playing a deep middle wouldn't be that hard for him to figure out. Him in the middle of the field with the peanut punch style of play that he has. Maybe that's something you could see from Josh Norman. He might be able to help this team out.
Very true. It is a possibility. I know we teased it early in the season because we were teasing the idea of Josh, not just Josh Norman, but Richard Sherman as well. If the Niners needed safety help, maybe that's a guy you could bring in who could make a switch over. Really just comes down to where he's at and what his headspace is in terms of being on the football field, right? I mean, there's some guys who are just corners. That's all they want to be is corners. They don't want to be a safety. I'm not a safety. I'm a corner. And if I can't play corner anymore, then, I don't want to be on a football field. So that could be the case for Josh.
No, you know what Josh Norman wants more than playing corner? To win a Super Bowl.
It's true.
That's why he's still playing. He wants to win a Super Bowl. He took an incentive-laden deal to win a Super Bowl, and he thought the 49ers had an opportunity to do that. Now that you're in the playoffs, you do whatever you have to do. And I seen Tommy talking about Dante Johnson playing safety. Yeah, Dante Johnson was working out as a safety for a while. They were going to task him with that. You want to have some extra coverage guys, and they've been going with that. The 49ers, a lot of teams are getting bigger and bigger. The 49ers are getting smaller in their secondary. They're just letting these guys fly around. And I thought I saw, was that DeQuez Denard that we saw out there? Who was 43?
I think that was DeQuez Denard.
Yeah, I mean, he was playing the nickel for a while, and I think that's when we saw that Dante Johnson was out there in the dime situations playing, that extra DB. So they're finding ways to mismatch and put these guys together to be able to cover the Rams wide receiver group. And it's a good test because the Rams wide receiver group is pretty good.
100%. Tommy, too, said, can we beat the dang Cowgirls, Ants? Of course we can. Of course we can. But it's going to come down to
I haven't watched a ton of Cowboys, so I'm looking forward to getting into the film a little bit. I've watched a little bit of it. But yeah, I think that the 49ers can beat the Cowboys because the 49ers recipe for success can beat any football team in this league. If you're able to run the football, and once you establish that run, you have these third down conversions, which Jimmy Garoppolo has been doing all year long. That's what Kyle talked about when he was talking to Greg Papa earlier in the week, is really the run game wasn't that great the first time they played the Rams. It was the third down conversions that were so big from Jimmy Garoppolo and this 49ers team. If they can do that in the playoffs and you play that timely defense like they're playing, that travels anywhere. And that's championship winning style football. But they got to stay out of their own way. They can't turn the ball over like you said, but this is a recipe for success against any team in the league. But they got to go out there and prove it, and that's why you play the game.
That's why you play the game, man. You're 100% right. You're 100% accurate. What was wrong with K'Wan Williams from Brad Jones? Essentially, he cleared protocols, but apparently he wasn't feeling that great.
Yeah, he was sick.
They just basically said, don't worry about it. We're going to roll with what we got, and it is what it is.
Well, Alex, we know what's going on here in California, so we'll have an understanding. There's not just the COVID thing going around, but there's also some sort of a respiratory thing as well that has similar symptoms, but ultimately makes you feel even worse than whatever the COVID variant is that's going around, where it's actually knocking people out with fatigue and stuff. So he might just not have felt up to playing. Accurate. And so he felt like he couldn't help his team win. He didn't want to take an active roster spot and then them not, leave one of these other guys inactive and really need them in the game. So he put his team first in that scenario, but hopefully he'll be ready to go for the playoffs because we definitely need him against the Cowboys.
100% need him against the Cowboys, Ant. And actually, Gary corrected us. It's cow pies, Ant.
Oh, thanks,
it's cow
Gary.
pies.
My bad, Gary.
At least Gary is here to course correct us all, Ant. At least that's Gary is here for that.
We need the fogies in our life.
I guess. I guess Ward didn't have the COVID, but had a cold, apparently, from Tommy. So that's interesting.
I mean, there it is, right? That's the respiratory thing. It's a real thing around here. I mean, in California, there is things that exist. Tommy's from California. He knows this. There's more things going on than just COVID as far as illness wise. And the seasonal flus and everything are still around. And some of them just you can kick your butt. So yeah, I'm glad these guys are, somewhat healthy. We got through a game against a really good team in the Los Angeles Rams without our starting left tackle and without our starting nickel corner against a team that runs 3 wide receiver sets and has great edge pass rushers. I think that's a good sign for the 49ers being able to overcome when they're missing players.
Absolutely, and I don't know who just put it on there. Brad Jones. Brad Jones just said, if you guys follow NFL on Fox on Facebook, they have a great meme about the Niners today involving the Penguins. And it is absolutely glorious. It's a basically a family of penguins, and they're running across this piece of ice in Antarctica, and the ice starts to split, and all of the NFL playoff teams, which is this family of penguins, they're moving one direction, and the Niners are this lone penguin realizing the ice is splitting and they're getting separated. They're like, oh geez, and so they start beelining it towards the edge, and right before the ice breaks and completely puts this penguin on this lone block of ice drifting off into the ocean, he makes a dive for the ice, lands, and slides in with the rest of the penguins into the pack. Absolutely great. Couldn't be more accurate, because after that first half, it did look like we were about to be out on an island all by our lonesome.
Yeah, it looked like we were going to be watching the playoffs from home with no pressure because our team wasn't going to be freaking playing. And I was getting frustrated with the fact that we couldn't count on the Falcons to go get a win against the New Orleans Saints. The 49ers needed to win the game, and luckily they got it together and they figured it out and they went out there and won. And that's what they had to do. And you know what? This story is amazing right now. You know when it becomes legend? If the 49ers can win in the playoffs.
True.
So right now they can turn this into something big. You can turn this into I mean, could you imagine if they're able to get something going? I just want to watch the Americas game and the 49ers were able to actually make it to the Super Bowl. And now they're in the playoffs, I can talk about that. But could you imagine the ups and downs, the twists and the turns, the things we're going to find out about what was going on in the locker room? Yes, give me that. Give me the Americas game where we're talking to George Kittle and Jimmy Garoppolo and Kyle Shanahan, the people that were there. Yeah, I'm ready for it. I have all the 80s stuff. I have the 90s America's game stuff that I watch on YouTube all the time. I need some of that in my life for the 49ers, but they have to win a Super Bowl to do that. If not, all the story was for naught. So now go get it done.
Yeah, now you have the base now for the story, and now you have to write the conclusion. The conclusion is the part that will be told right forever. It's something, it's historical, it's legendary. If you're able to finish this thing off with the Super Bowl. And Chris just asked, did Tart come back in? I'm not sure. I'm not sure if Tart came back in. It didn't look like it did.
No, he did not come back. He did not come back after the injury. He stayed out. That was, I mean, that's a weakness. That's a struggle. Tart's a big time member of this defense. Let's see how they mask it. Let's see how they figure it out, because you're right. They used Dante Johnson there. They have Tavon Wilson on IR. Could they have the practice window open for him? They could bring him back. Tavon Wilson could be somebody that they count on, somebody that we saw in training camp play well. He's not Tart. He's not Hufanga, but he is another option that they can use. Or they could also do like they did and roll with Dante Johnson if K'Wan Williams is back. There's a lot of options. We've seen guys like Merton Hanks, for instance, that was a cornerback in this league that when they moved to free safety, were able to play it in a big way. I don't know if Dante is, I'm not going to put him in the Merton Hanks category as far as talent, but maybe he could, at least extend his career a little bit, being able to be more versatile and play both roles.
Absolutely could be the case, and very well could be. Ben Meridian, this is an interesting comment. Jimmy played an excellent game. He has the same talent as Brady and Rodgers. I would disagree with you that he has the same talent as Brady and Rodgers. He's got similar characteristics to Brady in the quick release and the diagnosing pre-snap. He definitely does not have the same talent as Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers' talent is it's kind of once in a generation type talent.
Yeah, I mean, Aaron Rodgers' talent is almost unmatched. I mean, that's the thing. Jimmy Garoppolo has a lot of resume to get to reach Tom Brady. I think talent-wise, I don't think it's that close, because I think I don't think Tom Brady's like the most talented guy, but he's one of the most mentally talented guys that there is, and he can overcome any obstacle, and that's what makes him so strong and so good. Is sometimes it's more of a mental thing than a physical thing, and you're just able to make your body do what you needed to do. But both those guys are amazing, and I think Jimmy Garoppolo has some elite traits, and one of them is that elite release. But he's got to tie it together, and I'm not ready to put him in an elite category just because he won a game to help us get to the playoffs. He needs to do this consistently in the playoffs. That's how you get that name, made for yourself, and that's how you elevate yourself from being, a good quarterback who's like 15 to 18 in the league to being a top 10 quarterback or a top 5 quarterback. Separate yourself now. Jimmy has that opportunity. Everyone already appreciates his toughness. His team is going to play for him and grind for him, but he's got to go out there and get it done now for this football team.
Agreed. And Angel Gomez, can we win with 2 interceptions against the Cowgirls? A lot of people would have said you couldn't win with 2 interceptions against the Rams, but it really just comes down to if your defense is, doing the same thing, or is your defense getting turnovers? If they are, then maybe you can. But if you're the Niners, you just don't. I mean, you're what? You have 1 loss in the last 3 seasons if you don't turn the football over. I think it's what the stat is. So
they don't lose. Yeah. They don't lose when they win the turnover battle. I mean, that's just the way it goes. So if you're telling me that the 49ers are going to, create 2 turnovers from Dallas, and INTs in this case, and we're not going to turn over the football, then yeah, I'm going to say the 49ers have a definite chance of winning, especially if they can establish this run game and take, the kind of the onus off of Jimmy Garoppolo and just make it so he's converting on these third and manageable situations and not having to, go out there and win the game. I think that's good situations. Trayvon Diggs, even though he's had lots of interceptions, he also has a lot of times where he gets beat. There's going to be opportunities for the 49ers to get the ball out. And I think that there's going to be a little bit of struggles for that Cowboys secondary to be able to stop the weapons the 49ers have. Micah Parsons coming off the edge is going to be a big thing to watch in this game. If Trent Williams is back, though, and they're able to run the ball, the one thing I know about a pass rusher, especially a young guy like Micah Parsons who can kind of do it all, he might want to come off the edge, but how good is he going to be stopping the run against what the 49ers do in the run game? Because they put all these great pass rushers on their back. So Micah Parsons is going to have to take on Tom Compton, Trent Williams, and those guys on the edge, not to mention George Kittle. And if he starts getting put on his back early, let's see if his will is still there when we get to the 3rd and 4th quarter.
100%, Ant. 100% the question. Brad Jones, according to Next Gen Stats, the Niners had a 0.4% chance of winning the game when they were down 17-0, which is the lowest in Next Gen Stats history that resulted in a win for that team. That is huge. So the Niners not only handing Sean McVay the 1-45-1 when leading at halftime, Ant, also coming back from the lowest margin of potential victory in Next Gen Stats history. Rules and stats, Ant, are only part of the story. That's why you play the game. Vish Bell also. I started following you guys around the 2021 draft. You guys have been amazing every week with these videos. Vish Bell, thank you so much for that, man.
Yeah, thanks, Vish. Appreciate it.
You've been around a while then, man. And you know what?
Yeah.
We're just getting started. So, don't turn that dial. There's a lot still coming from the 49ers cutback in year 3. But now our first ever playoff opportunity to put out playoff content here on the channel. Huge. It's super exciting time.
Yeah, I'm super excited about this week. The excitement, I mean, I think you could feel it early on. We were definitely excited for this. I'm starting to come down a little bit from my emotions, but I'm still excited about this week and the opportunity. And I'm going to be honest with you. I mean, I don't know if this is going to come back to bite me in the butt, but I wanted the Cowboys. Give me the boys. Give me the Packers. I want these teams because I lived through the 90s. I mean, I lived through the 80s too, but I lived through the 90s, and I remember how it felt, in those games, and I don't forget. The Cowboys are one of the teams I hate the most. The Rams, I hate one of the teams I hate the most. Recently Seahawks, but Rams and Cowboys run very deep. So I want this. I want the 49ers to go in there and handle business because there's nothing better than beating one of your rivalries. And this is a rivalry that dates back all the way to the 1970s. Sure. The Cowboys, the Niners were never able to get over the hump, got over in the 80s. The Cowboys came screaming back in the 90s. And the 49ers got over the hump one time in the 90s. And then here came Brett Favre and the Green Bay Packers. So it is time for the 49ers to get some of this done. But yeah, I'm excited about the playoffs. And this is what you want, right? Marquee matchups in the playoffs.
100%. And marquee matchups in the playoffs, the NFL is going to get it definitely. Week 18 was 100% a success for the NFL. They are loving this. They'll love it even more when they can add another playoff team potentially and potentially another bye. They'd even love it if they could add a team over there in Europe, and that would absolutely make their day. But look, right now you have a week 18 success. You have the Niners with a big win, a huge win in overtime in week 18. And now you got Niners Cowboys coming to you next week for the super wild card weekend, in which we're both anticipating either Sunday night primetime or Monday night primetime for this Niners Cowboys game.
I'm really hoping that it's Sunday. I am, because I don't want to play on Monday night. I know the primetime thing is there, but how much of a disadvantage is that going to put the winning team in? That they're going to have, a less time to prepare for the next Sunday. I think that puts your team at a disadvantage, and that's why I always wondered why they were going to Monday night. They usually staggered the whole Saturday Sunday thing, but now I guess it'll be more defined. We know that if they win on Monday, they would play on Sunday the next week. I guess you have that going for you, but to me, it seems like it puts you at a competitive disadvantage. So let's see how they manage that. But I'm hoping it's Sunday for that reason. But if it's Monday, hey, let's roll. We're going to be the only game that's going to be out there. And Alex, if they're having Monday night football, that would be back-to-back Monday night weeks because, tomorrow night they got the national championship. So I think football fans overall, 2 Mondays in a row of great football. Wild Card Weekend is one of my favorite weekends of the entire year. The football games are always fantastic to watch. It's always exciting. I'm looking forward to it. If the 49ers don't play till Monday, at least in the grand scheme of things, we can enjoy Saturday, we can enjoy Sunday, and then Monday, let the nerves kick in. From the time I wake up in the morning, I will be nervous about that game, but I'll throw on my 49ers socks, my 49ers attire, and get ready for a 49ers butt whooping of the Cowboys.
Agreed. Megan, has anyone watched the Montana docu-series? And I know you had started watching it, right?
Yeah, I've watched the first couple episodes that came out. It is wonderful. Under Pressure is great to look back. Some things I didn't know, like I did not know for sure. I knew that he played with Rudy, but I did not know that his injuries, in fact, why Rudy was able to suit in that game, that he was one of the players that didn't dress. So that way Rudy, Dan Rudiger could play in that game. I thought that was interesting. The one thing that Joe Montana has put out there before, and he kind of reiterates it in a very nice way, is maybe Rudy, the story's not true. In fact, Joe Montana says that in that moment when they carried him off the field, They did it as a joke. They thought it was funny. They did not realize that no one had ever been carried off before. And he says, looking back on it now, they probably wouldn't have done it.
Oh my gosh, dude, that's crazy.
Yeah.
That is crazy.
That was worth it right there. Yeah.
Well, they created a Hollywood moment, and that story is now
Shocking.
told, and it's told now and will forever be told, the story of Rudy. So congratulations, Joe Montana, and what a surprise. College kids doing something as a joke actually now as historical impact. So way to go, youth of America. You win again.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, this is kind of, I thought it was interesting, and, I'm looking forward to, because I got through the first 2 episodes. The first one is establishing him like high school, his recruitment to Notre Dame, but also the battle just for him to be able to play football in high school. It wasn't easy for him. And then, kind of getting to that point. And then the last film got us into the Super Bowl, the first one, Super Bowl 16. So I'm interested to see when we get into the era where it's Joe and Steve, when Steve gets there, because I want to see some of the insight of what they say about Bill, because I've heard Mike Holmgren talk about this a little bit, and there were moments where Bill Walsh wanted to trade Joe Montana and go with Steve Young, and there was so much, back and forth about who the starting quarterback should be, especially in 1988. I'm ready for all that, because I think Joe is going to let his real feelings on the situation be brought to light. And I think it's a little bit relevant because of what we've had going on with Jimmy Garoppolo and Trey Lance.
Very true. Very true. Ralph asked, a Niners-Eagles NFC Championship game would be in San Francisco, right? That is accurate. It would be. That is the only way that it would be in San Francisco, and highly unlikely.
Yeah. And you see this, S-Tub says, Jimmy 4 fingers, Jimmy 4 fingers.
Hey, technically he's right, because the thumb's not considered a finger. It's considered the thumb, because it's the only one of the 4, I guess, digits on your hand that is a saddle joint. So therefore it's not considered a finger ant. So for all of you who didn't know that, there you go. There's some knowledge for you. So correct. Jimmy does only have 4 fingers, but he also has a thumb, and that did enough today. So there you go.
Well, he didn't need 5. He only needed 4. So
it's true. He did. He only needed 4.
And did you see that? What Brad Jones just said? And apparently the Rams were yelling at Kittle, get him a body bag, when they were up 17-0.
Oh man, big yikes.
How'd that work out for you?
Yeah, big yikes. Oh, how'd that work out for him? Also, Sean McVay running into the end zone again to celebrate with his team.
Well,
eat some of that crow,
yeah.
Sean.
Well, I think it's fitting, too, that they say get him a body bag, because if I remember right, Daniel LaRusso ends up winning that fight and beating Johnny Lawrence. Maybe you don't want to be the one that's yelling, get him a body bag.
Don't be Cobra Kai from the Karate Kid. You don't want to be. You want to be Cobra Kai from the series, the YouTube series. You don't want to be Cobra Kai Ant from the original
YouTube.
movie.
It's been far better since it went to Netflix.
That's very true.
Yeah,
that's very true. So yeah, no, look, bad for them. I'm surprised they didn't put Trey Lance in the game in the second half. I agreed with you there, Tommy. I thought we may see some of him.
Not after the last drive. No.
Oh, I mean, yes, that's true.
I think when Jimmy threw his pick, I think if that would have just been the way the ball looked, and you wouldn't have Aaron Donald, screaming, into his face and into his body, I think you're right. There was probably going to be a push there. But what about the resolve of Kyle Shanahan to say at that moment, no, you know what? We're going to roll with this guy no matter how much pressure I feel. And 49ers Twitter actually went crazy. People went back to fire Kyle Shanahan. Kyle Shanahan doesn't understand football at all. Get rid of this guy. How did that age? It didn't even take, how much longer did that take? 30 minutes of game time, and now everyone's just excited. We're just going to ignore that happened. Oh, ignore that. Pay no attention to the man behind the curtain.
We're not ignoring that.
The curtain was revealed on a lot of people's unfaithfulness early in this game, and it unfortunately came back to bite them in the butt. I think they were echoing get them a body bag as well, and it didn't pay off for them.
No, it didn't pay off for him, and they will be featured on Big Yikes. And if you want to watch Big Yikes, you can head over to Patreon, where we have all of the additional content. Madden content is going to be coming back out again. The Madden League it's been going. I think we're in technically week 13 of the Madden League. But we kind of took a pause on posting content because I was with the Vrabels, in Tennessee a few weeks ago. So, we're going to be posting that content again. So you're going to have even more content coming over on Patreon than you have been getting, which is even great. It's even better. So head on over to Patreon as well. You can support us there. Helps the channel out immensely, but you get additional content like Big Yikes, Ant, which is one of our more popular shows over on Patreon. So yeah, go check that out. If
it is the most popular show on Patreon.
That is accurate. It is the most popular. So if you like laughing at bad takes and people saying silly things, and not realizing how silly or ridiculous they're being, and having just a good laugh at some of the nonsense that gets said, then head on over there. You won't regret that. It's a good time.
Yeah, and David Campbell's talking about the Ramsey hit on Debo. He came up trash talking, and he was, suffering from exactly. I felt the exact same way in that situation. I thought that was super funny at the moment. And Stovey's asking, are we going to get a Madden sim for the wild card round?
1,000%. 1,000%, yes.
Friday frenzies are going to be, they're here to stay. They're going to be going throughout the playoffs. And let's hope the 49ers can keep it going, because as long as they do, we're going to continue the same content that we've been putting out week to week, and Madden Sims is a big part of that.
True. It's very, very true, Ant. Kyle was asked about whether or not he considered Trey in the second half. He said no, basically only if Jimmy would have been hurt during the post-game presser. Good to know. Good to know from Kyle Shanahan. He's sticking with his guy. I
wonder how many people are going to say Jimmy was hurt.
Well, Ant, no, he's been faking it. He's really not that hurt. Everyone keeps posting it. I'm seeing people, including prominent 49ers talking heads, floating this out there with no basis to floating it. He's not actually hurt. They're faking the injury to protect him. This isn't real. This is just Kyle trying to cover his own behind.
I don't get it. I don't understand the narrative. I think that, no, he's hurt, and I think that he's playing well, and he's being a gutsy performance. So I don't really care. At this point, I don't care what people think. I'm just gonna observe and keep it right down the middle and be objective, because that's all I know how to do. Jimmy Garoppolo's obviously hurt. He wouldn't play with tape on his thumb if he wasn't hurt. You don't do that. You can lose grip. There's all kinds of things that can go the wrong way. So I think he's definitely hurt.
He's definitely hurt, and he 100% is. Coach's viewpoint: all of them haters are gamers, and it could be. Sometimes that's the case. But he thinks the Niners are going to pound that rock. I love it, Coach Timo. I absolutely do. Mm-hmm. That last Madden sim though from JL, wasn't very good. I hated that
good. One. And when we got to the first half going, I was like, oh my gosh, the Madden sim was right. I was so ticked off. The 49ers almost came back in that Madden sim. They were able to finish it off in real life. So Madden sim at least lends to it, but it got the ending wrong, thank God. And so we brought up on the episode, Madden sim got it wrong. That's good news for the Niners.
Very good news for the Niners. Stafford is going to solve the problem from Tommy Huxley. Not the case at all. But look, man, you and I are both. We're jacked.
I wondered, Alex, a little bit about Matthew Stafford. If when it got to crunch time, how he was going to perform. He did make a great throw to Cooper Kupp.
He did,
but you could tell he was a little shook. When the 49ers came back and tied this game, it seemed like he was stressing a little bit, throwing balls a little bit farther outside, throwing balls low. It seemed like he wasn't right. And then what is going to happen with his ankle? Because it was obvious that he definitely came up lame a little bit on the Arden Key hit. And the hit, there's nothing egregious about it. But you can see him even on the sidelines kind of walking it out. Is that going to have lasting effects when they play Arizona next week? And could them going all out to beat the 49ers actually cost them in the playoffs?
Very well could. It very well could. And we're going to have to wait to see what happens. We'll have to see how he's feeling and what that means for him. But this has always been an issue with Stafford, is being able to stay healthy. He's always had some issues. He gets banged up. He plays through them, but he's usually playing hurt, and sometimes that affects performance. He's had one heck of a season statistically. We'll see if he can finish it out on a good note, because they're going to have themselves a battle with the Arizona Cardinals. That is absolutely going to be the case. And Red Eye Ant had to chime in. Dak is better than Stafford. Careful what you wish for. I don't know if we were necessarily wishing for anything. I think the only team I was actually wishing for was the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Ant, with all the injuries that they've sustained. But look, I think the Niners can match up.
In the playoffs, Alex, do you wish for anyone? I mean, it doesn't matter, right? You pick your poison. Whoever you get is going to be. And you know what? You're right. I did want the Cowboys. You know why I want the Cowboys? Because I hate the Cowboys. This is a rivalry game. Dak Prescott and Matthew Stafford are two different types of quarterbacks. It's 100% accurate. And this is going to be a different style of football game. But I mean, it's just one of those things where, I mean, what matchup was it that we were going to feel real good about? Playing the Rams and trying to beat them for a third time, going ahead and traveling to Tampa Bay to play Tom Terrific. Was that the matchup we wanted? Just face it, this was going to be a tough matchup no matter who you play for or play. So yeah, give me America's team. Give me that. If you want to say Dak's better than Matthew Stafford, you go for it. I don't know what he's done that's proven how much better he is than Matthew Stafford. To me, I put them on the same level until they start winning playoff games.
All that matters. You got to start winning playoff games. Both guys have struggled to do so. Jimmy Garoppolo 2-1 in the playoffs. We'll see if he can build on that performance. The Niners have had it one heck of a second half of the season. After an up and down, what looked like it was going to be a great start. The Niners went 2-0. They dropped 4 straight. They haven't finished as good. But look, at the end of the day, this is the reality. And Red Eye wasn't looking for your dumb responses, LOL, just a statement. Well, you made a statement, and now you can make another one, my guy. You want to take that personally.
Make a dumb statement, you get a dumb answer. That's what happened right there.
Okay, Red Eye. Have fun with that, my guy.
And it wasn't even a statement because it's not fact. Dak Prescott is not 100% better than Matthew Stafford. Matthew Stafford set a franchise record with the Los Angeles Rams in yardage. Boom.
I mean, look, it's your opinion, and that's fine. You're allowed to have your opinion, but if you want to come in here and say your opinion is fact, I mean, you're gonna get put to the mat on it. You're gonna get at least challenged on it at the very least. So listen, man, you could feel any way you want, but there was never gonna be an easy matchup. This season wasn't gonna be easy. We sat here and thought that the Niners, could have very easily been a team that went, 13-3, 13-4. This was a team that was going to have an opportunity to win 13, hopefully 14 games. You and I both predicted right in that category, right in that range. And the Niners didn't get healthy. They didn't take care of business. And then you're just sitting there hoping, can the Niners make the playoffs? You and I both thought that they could, but it was never going to be easy after the way the season started. And the Niners have bounced back in a huge way. And that's all that matters. You just want to get into the dance. And now we're there. We're in the conversation with everybody else. And see you later, Red Eye. Bye-bye. We're really sad. Sorry to see you go. Jag, as much as Shanahan got roasted when they were losing, he has to get mad props for riding the ship and keeping this team believing with the $5 super chat. Jag, you're 100% right. That is the mentality that we should be having. That is the thing that 49ers fans should be focused on, is the fact that this team has completely turned it around in a big way, and now we have a chance to beat some of these teams that have been the better teams in the NFL and who've been playing more consistent football, I guess is the way that some people will look at it. The Niners have been playing some of the most consistent football in the league, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what they're going to do against the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, it's going to be big matchups. Every single team that's in this playoffs is a good football team, and that's why they're there. And they all have a lot of talent, and they all do things really well. And the key is going to be, can you do enough, to get it done? I don't expect any of these games to be easy, especially for the 49ers. They've got to prove that they're better than a 6 seed. They got to go in there and handle business. It's just the way that they're built and the makeup of this team. They've come through a lot, and now they're going to have an opportunity to go out there and do it, and that's what you're looking for in these situations. And so it doesn't matter who's lined up on the other side. You have to take care of business yourself. And if you're playing well, then you have an opportunity. And if you don't, then you're going to get beat because you have no room for error against some of these football teams. But the 49ers proved today that they can play a very good team that's in the playoffs, and they can do well.
Absolutely. They 100% can, Ant. We've known this about this team. And Tony Two-Tone, Niners faithful right here. Shout out to my cutback cutties. LFG, let's freaking go. It's obviously not
exactly.
Freaking. Tony, you are correct, though. Let's freaking go. The Niners are one of the most resilient teams in the NFL, though, David. That is 100% accurate, and we're going to see. We're going to see what happens going forward with this team. You can definitely catch possibly Red Eye. I don't know if you'll catch Red Eye on Big Yikes, Candy. There's a lot worse yikes than that. I was just silly.
No, I mean, we're not going to catch him on there. I mean, it's fine. Red Eye came and said what Red Eye wanted to say. And that's fine. He doesn't deserve to be on Big Yikes. His take wasn't that terrible.
No.
It's just the response to it. I mean, that's just what happens.
That was a yikes, yeah. But there are worse yikes in the world than that.
Oh, and I'm ready to move past Red Eye. I'm ready to be excited about this 49ers win. No negativity in our life. We got 49ers going to the playoffs, which Alex 8-9 weeks ago was impossible for the 49ers to do. Blow it up. They said blow it up.
They said blow it up, Ant. They meant blow it up. A lot of people meant blow it up.
Yeah.
You and I, not so much. That wasn't the case here. We kept the faith, Ant. We kept the positivity. We kept it real. But we were being homers, if you remember. We were being homers.
It's okay. It's okay to be homers.
It's true. It's true. It's fine to be homers. Make the dance and see Lance? Question mark from Tommy. Probably not. It's probably
I like the rhyme. I mean, I like what Tommy's doing with the rhymes there.
The rhyme is great. The rhyme is great, but the likelihood of seeing Trey Lance at this point, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Barring Jimmy Garoppolo not being available, Trey Lance is not going to be on the field. The Shanahan plan is not a thing. It's not happening. At no point is it happening. I thought if there was a chance it was this week where all the chips are down on the table and you just have situations where maybe you get Jimmy off the field, and Kyle Shanahan isn't doing it. It's not happening. This is not the reality. It is Jimmy Garoppolo's team unless Jimmy Garoppolo is not available.
Yeah, and you're right, KNDR. You're very accurate. He has definitely been on there. 1,000% yes.
That he has. He has already been on. The Cowboys proclaimed as America's team. Pardon me while I projectile vomit. 1972, Roger Staubach threw 2 TDs in the final 2 minutes to knock the Niners out of the playoffs. The hate runs deep.
Oh, and Niners were up 11 in that football game. Yeah, true. I mean that one cut deep. You had the onside kick. Oh yeah, that's one of the ones that cut deep. That's before my time. I was not alive yet, but I'm very aware of that. And yeah, Frank,
Jay Hill was
100%.
Right?
We don't want that to happen.
Jay Hill was alive.
Jay Hill could have been alive. I don't know. I thought he was a late 60s guy, but
I thought he was too. We'll have to find that out. Who knows? But Cutback crew, look, we're gonna wrap this thing up. We got a recap show to get going and potentially face off. And I guess we'll see. I guess we'll see what happens. We'll see what we can make work out. But look. It's a lot. It's a lot of fun. This is a great game. Get Debo an oxygen tank there from Adam Martinez.
Hey, that's a great comment because Debo was struggling at the end. He gave everything he had in this football game.
He really did. He left it all out on the field, and he's healthy afterwards, which I love to see as well. And now the Niners have a chance to go to Dallas, to go to Jerry's World and spoil the fun and spoil their run. How many Grant Cohn tweets will be on Big Yikes this week?
I don't know. He might have to share the wealth.
He's gonna have to share the wealth. There's a lot of bad
I'm sure
takes.
He'll have some though.
There's gonna be some, but there is a lot of bad takes out there saying there is a lot. Cutback crew, we love y'all. Thank you so much for the support. Thank you for tuning in. And we got a big playoff thing to get ready for. We got a recap show to do, and we got a lot of great content this week. So make sure you're subscribed if you haven't already. And is it about that time, man? Is it?
It is. So Alex, you know what? It's that time. It's playoff time. So let's chalk another one up.
See you on the next one.